Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to today's webcast, Streamlining Emergency Incident Recreation. We really appreciate your time today. My name is Patrick Bose. I'll be your host. I'm the Vice President of Workforce Optimization here at VPI. I'm joined by my colleague Greg Cummings, and he's also with VPI. He's our Public Safety Solutions Consultant, and Ryan Hurley, who is out of Florida. He's with one of our resellers, Replay Systems. Ryan will be taking you through the workflow of what streamlined incident recreation looks like, and then Greg will follow up with a live demonstration of how that workflow looks within the VPI system and how you can apply all the various tools to make incident recreation faster and more effective in your agency. A little bit about VPI and Replay for those of you who aren't familiar with us. We're 100% U.S. based. All our research and development and production is here in the United States. We've been serving the public safety industry for 20 years now. One of our first customers, LA County Sheriff, 50 sites. They're still a customer to this day. And we've since grown to over 600 public safety agencies in North America using our solutions and services. We are an APCO and NENA Next Generation partner. We are on the ICE 8, which is the Recording and Logging Committee for planning Next Generation 911 recording of not only audio, IP, digital audio, text messaging, multimedia video. So we're actively involved in that committee and the testing. And we're also very involved in the new NENA and APCO quality assurance standards that are coming out here in the next couple months. We are on the GSA schedule, so that typically helps with purchasing, and we're also on several different state contracts as well. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Ryan Hurley from Replay. Replay is one of our top partners, as I mentioned. They have a really strong presence in the Southeast and the Midwest, and they're a fantastic support partner and really understand public safety well. And Ryan will take you through kind of what some of the challenges with incident recreation are today. He'll share some case studies and share the workflow of how you can improve incident recreation. Thanks, Ryan.
All right. Thank you very much, Patrick. Excited to be on today. I've been with Replay for about 5 or 6 years now, sales manager for Florida. And incident recreation is definitely one of the hottest topics, when I go from customer to customer, prospect to prospect. And just to share a quick story with you, several years ago, when I was at a meeting, someone asked me, what is incident recreation? And I guess I was feeling like a smart aleck that day because my response was, well, it's recreating an incident. They were, quick to reply and say, well, that's, pretty easy for you to say. And, they may have thought I was being naive, but at the time, I had only been exposed to VPI, so I truly believed that it was an easy and powerful tool to use. That said, I'm very excited to be on today's webinar because VPI's incident recreation is one of my favorite topics and tool sets to discuss with customers. The reason I say that is because it includes so many useful features such as console screen recording, CAD integration, integrated QA and coaching, other tools such as redaction, importing attachments, and pack and go. All of these things put together are going to help you find what matters, save you precious time, help you to evaluate and train your employees, and then give you the ability to easily share this information after you've gotten it all together. So throughout the next several slides and in the demo from Greg Cummings, we will highlight VPI's incident recreation. So it's all going to start with the audio, but we need to be prepared to capture both radio and telephone. Not only that, we need to be compatible with analog, digital, and/or voice over IP, all of which VPI is very strong in, and we can view this all in a single screen. We can also leverage anti-alley data. Capturing anti-alley data is extremely significant. Using mapping features, we can view where calls originated in an incident. The next thing we can bring into the mix as part of the incident that we want to review and analyze is the console screens. VPI can provide the ability to record and replay multiple screens, such as CAD, mapping, or the automatic vehicle location applications. This is very valuable when used for reviewing how a major incident was handled. The next part that I like to bring in is the CAD integration. VPI has worked with numerous CAD vendors to implement a product that they have called FactFinder. FactFinder gives you the ability to automatically tag CAD data to recordings through a very simply implemented screen analytics tool. So that's going to now give us the chance to capture all this information: incident type, incident location, incident severity. These are all now going to become searchable criteria within the VPI software. So the last few things that I mentioned, both the audio, the console screen recording, integrating CAD information to our calls, that's all going to be done with little to no intervention and basically take place in the background. But there are a few things that we can very easily do in a manual format to kind of make our incident whole. So with VPI standard importing tool, you can attach photos, videos, and documents to an interaction right within the timeline. You can also easily redact information. So if a part of your incident should not be shared either internally or externally, we can quickly mask out that sensitive information. So here's a picture of dual screens within the VPI software that shows us not only where we've imported an attachment, it's right down to the minute and second there. We can also see some desktop screens over on our left-hand side. Lastly, as part of just the next-gen sort of topic, surveillance video, text messages, and emails can be brought into the mix. So we'll start to see this implemented in the future as well. So now we've kind of gotten everything together in our incident. Now what are we going to do with it? We want to be able to evaluate it, and we want to be able to share this information. VPI has a very powerful tool called Pack and Go, to where we can now package up all of our data that pertains to this incident and email it to a recipient. This recipient doesn't even need the VPI software to view this file. All they simply need is a Windows media player, and they can view all of your audio, your attachments, and your notes that you included to be part of this incident file. So speaking of evaluating, now we can actually have the chance to evaluate this incident, not one by one, but all these calls put together. So we can have different forms built that kind of go along with that. So now we can view this all together in one screen, both our evaluation script and the Pack and Go visual right alongside of it. And then speaking of QA, VPI has the only integration to priority dispatch, the most prevalent QA product used in the public safety industry. You can now stream VPI's audio and video right here into your Aqua software to play back all together. So that's a pretty quick highlight and some screenshots. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to Greg so I don't steal all his thunder, and he can show us a little bit of a demonstration on everything that we just reviewed in these slides.
Thank you very much, Ryan. Okay, everyone should be seeing my desktop, and again, right, thank you all for joining. And we'll spend the rest of the time in the product, like I had mentioned. So Ryan definitely stepped through a lot of the key components for incident recreation and some of the things we can expect to see in the industry with next generation 911 and just the evolution of the public safety market. All right, some of you on the phone with us today might be familiar with VPI. Some of you might not be. Right, so this is going to be a good kind of overview and introduction to definitely some of these components. So one of the things, right, from a portal perspective, VPI's interface is completely web-based. One of the methodologies that we've built in is all about ease of use, right? That's a key concept for us, is ease of use. So as I log into the web-based portal, the system is going to automatically land me on the interaction audio search screen that allows me to immediately start to interface with the recordings that have been captured in my environment. And that's a really important concept to understand. You want to be able to quickly access the interface, locate the recordings that are important to you as an agency or an individual user, and then do the common actions, right, that we're going to spend our time on today. And those are what I'm going to highlight. So within our web-based interface, we have our main audio search view, which is broken down into 3 areas. And I always like to highlight this, and it goes along with the whole methodologies that we've used to build into the product, which is that keep it simple methodology, the KISS message, right? Keep it simple, and you'll start to see that as we work through this. The main area at the top is what we refer to as our actionable items area. This is where we can do things like quickly set our date and time for the different recordings we want to look for. We can use different filters to narrow down and get very specific with what we're trying to find, right? It's all about, can I find it quickly? And once I've found it, what can I do with it to really make it a powerful tool, right, and utilize all of its functionality? Your middle section, right, of this view is your search results area, where we can see all the different records that have been returned within our search. And I'm just going to scroll down here and get us to a point where we're going to start to select some records. And then our section down here at the bottom, right, is our media player. You'll notice that we're not going to use the back button or the forward button, right? We want to stay centralized, one clean, easy-to-use view where you can accomplish the task that you need to on a regular basis. I'm going to start by selecting this call that I've got highlighted in my results area, which is from call taker Greg Cummings. When I select this record, it's going to load up into my media player, right? This is very important to be able to get that visual representation and then start to interact with that content. I've loaded up this initial 911 call that this user took. I can see that I've got my associated metadata, right? The start date and time of that recording, the channel it was recorded on, the call taker, the user's name, right? The duration. I've also got my Alley data associated with it, so I've got visual representation of all that data. Through my media player controls, right, once I've got it loaded up, one of the things that Ryan had mentioned was you need the ability to not only just play the call, but how can you take some additional action? So right from this view, I can annotate this recording if I wanted to add a comment to it, right? This is an incident where a minor was involved and the minor's name was said at a particular point, right? A minor mention. So what do I need to do there? Well, I want to make a notation of that, and then what we're going to do in a little bit is we're actually going to redact that and remove that piece of audio because we don't want to have that as part of our incident that we're going to send off to someone, right, that they're going to utilize maybe from a public records request. So really important that we can make those comments, make those annotations, right? I've added that annotation there. Now I've got a comment, so a lot of controls. If you wanted to add an attachment, right, an external piece of content, the records request that came in and associated with it, maybe, you know, any material that might be relevant to this incident can be attached by using the add attachment field as well. So standard media controls, very simple, easy to use, nice, friendly interface. One of the other things I'll just quickly highlight for you is in addition to looking at the audio perspective, right, you can quickly jump over to a maps view and it'll actually load up and show you based on the Alley data that was collected where this incident actually occurred within the mapping program. So I selected that one record. It has my Alley data associated with it. I'm able to jump to my map screen and I can quickly drill down in. You can change from the map view to the satellite view if you want to get the satellite imagery picture of that as well, right? And you can also do that with multiple incidents and kind of start to lay out a graphical view on a map that shows you incidents that might be occurring in a common area. So a lot of nice integration with the map functionality. And then we'll just hop back over to our audio view And again, I haven't left this page, right? I continue to say that because it's an important message. Ease of use is critical in our public safety environment, and we take that message to heart and really look to design our feature set with that in mind. Now that I've got this one audio segment together, let's continue down this thread of that incident recreation. What if I wanted to add a few more pieces, right? Like these additional calls that have been flagged here, and these are the radio transmissions that went along with this 911 call. Well, let me just update my details, and now you'll see that I've expanded the breadth of what my media view looks like. It's encompassing not only the 911 transmission, but also the radio transmissions that were made by the call taker or dispatcher during the course of that 911 transaction, right? So now I'm starting to create a complete picture. This is my incident. I was able to flag each one of these, right? So I can quickly review them, join them together into a common incident, right? And then I still haven't left this screen. I can make additional annotations. And then if I needed to, you have from an actions menu in the upper left, the ability to flag all of these, right? If you want to categorize them a particular way, maybe they're fire, maybe this is a particular, right? You want to use this for training purposes. You have a lot of capability from a flagging perspective. You can comment, attach files, right? We can redact these, and we'll touch on redaction in a few minutes. Well, one of the other important things we want to talk about is the ability to save these files outside the system. When we are looking to save content outside the system, there's, right, a couple of important things to understand is, do we want to take it out of the system in such a way that we can have it password protected, and we can have a secure file type that we can then send off to someone and have them enter a password to open that up and be able to review it? I think that might be a good idea to have that password protection level of security. Within my Save As option, and you'll notice it's just a popover window. Again, ease of use. We're not reloading entire screens. We're not going back and forth, right? It's really important to have that and maintain that common single view, right, from an ease of use perspective. When I'm saving something, I can save it as a secure attachment, and I'm going to demonstrate what that looks like in just a second. We can also save as an unsecure attachment, which would be individual WAV files, right, which would be, right, you could load those in a standard media player and listen to those, right, in an unsecure fashion. And then we can also string all the calls together into one WAV file, which is important sometimes. There are still, right, courtrooms out there that are using a tape player or a CD player, and maybe they just want to put those calls on a CD and, right, have that play, and that's perfectly fine. So you can save multiple different formats and file types. I'm going to save this as a secure file. We're going to include some call details, which is going to be an automated voice. It's going to tell you the date and time of the incident, and then it's going to start to play it. I'm going to password protect it, right? So this is where we start to add our level of security. We want to make sure we're adding a proper password, right? It's strong enough. Once I've saved that to my destination, I want to show everyone what that looks like, because this is important. I'll bring up my desktop, and then you'll notice over on the right-hand side of my desktop, I have an export, a little briefcase with a gold buckle on it, right? This is that secure file that we've saved outside the system. When I launch that, it's going to open up that pack and go player, and you'll see that it requires the password. This is really critical to be able to save files in such a format, right, that when you send it to someone, they have the complete timeline, they have any comments or annotations, right? They can actually look at the details of that and see the associated metadata that are part of this. It's a nice, clean package that you're able to export out of the system and send off to someone, right, so they can actually view it and see it in a real-time format with all the call segments joined together. So that export capability, really nice feature. Now, continuing to build onto that, right, we've been able to flag and comment. We performed our standard actions, right, but now we're ready to create this as a scenario. So I've selected my segments. I've loaded them up after my search. When I go through my actions menu, I do an interaction assembly, right? This is our scenario recreation or incident recreation. The system is going to then build those, and you'll see on the left-hand side of the screen that I am now in an interaction assembly window. And this is important to understand. We are taking these segments of audio and joining them together into a common scenario. You could still, at any time, search for the individual pieces, right? Think of this as more of a pointer. we're creating a pointer that says when you call me, right, or find me the incident, I'm going to go pull up these records, right, and bring those together for you. On the right-hand side, we still maintain all of our search capabilities, which is nice because you know what? Come to think of it, I forgot something here. There's more than just these transactions or these calls that should be included in my incident. Okay, well, instead of having to start over, that could be a little tough. Let me take this one here, right, this call by Amanda, because she also was part of this, and now I can actually drag and drop this into my scenario. I can move that in by just simply dragging and dropping from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. So I don't have to restart that scenario or redo it. I can simply move, search for additional pieces. As an example, a use case, we had a department in California where I'm located that's about a year, maybe a year and a half ago, was a major incident in our area. And they had to assemble a massive scenario that covered multiple days, part of a large manhunt, and it ended up being 2,200 pieces of audio. They were able to do that within the application. We don't limit you on the size of that. Locating those records for them, right, was relatively easy because they had the channels, they knew the agencies that were involved. They were able to join those together into a single scenario, right, and bring that outside the system for those public records requests and different agencies that were requesting, right, that entire scenario. So you have a lot of control and flexibility with how you rebuild your incidents. Now I think I'm good. So after my short story there, I think I'm okay. I've added all of my components, and now I'm going to name this. So this is my fire incident, right? And I'm going to title it, right, 765432. That was the incident ID that we associated with it. I'm going to save it. Now I have one common incident. You'll notice that when I am performing, and I'm just going to, right, quickly do an interaction search, is that I can actually see all of my different interactions in one common view. You'll notice when this view refreshes, there's my incident, right, that we just created. Here's my fire incident. When I select that incident, and this is a listing of all the different incidents that I've created. So now I've got this, and I can see it from a compact view. I can go into a standard view, which is going to show me my actual time, multiple different ways that you can show this. And remember how earlier we had annotated that at one point, right, there was a minor mention? Oh, what if I need to redact that? Okay. When I left-click anywhere in my media bar, I can redact. When I perform a redaction, now I can drag this to the particular points that I need to have covered up, right, because I had my minor mention right in this area, right, and save it, right. Minor name was dead. Hit OK. Now I've just covered up that piece. When I extract this now from the system and save it, because I have to furnish it to someone, that piece is going to be blanked out, right? They will not be able to hear it. So the ability to assemble a multiple, right, call incident or scenario, the ability to comment on it, attach files to it, the ability to redact that, to remove the pieces, and again, one interface. We haven't left our main screen. We've searched for the recordings, we've joined them together, created that common incident, built everything up nicely, redacted it as we needed to, and then now I can continue, right, to export this out of the system, save it off, and send it to someone. Really, really good capabilities. And then if anyone is doing quality reviews or analysis, right, to kind of dig in and review that, you can perform an evaluation against it, which is a critical component. There are a lot of times where we're doing quality analysis and review and we want to take that next step, right, for that process management and ensuring that our agencies are following all the proper procedures. So the ability to now perform an evaluation on this using a particular form, and because Amanda was the initial dispatcher on this, I'm going to associate this with her, and now I can select a particular evaluation form, right? This is my quality review form, so this is my call receiver police QA form, right, or my FD EMS radio form or my PD dispatch form. I might have a particular form I want to use, and then I start to review and evaluate this incident. So now I get access to my complete media. This is that entire scenario or incident that was created. I can listen to this. I can see all of my comments, any of the attachments, any of the text metadata, the NG911 data. It's all going to be encompassed right in this view, and now I can start to continue my review process, answering my questions that are on my standard quality form to ensure that we're handling our scenarios and our incidents and our interactions with the public, in the manner that we should be. Answer my questions as I work through my evaluation process. If I've noticed an area of opportunity, I can immediately assign someone a coaching activity because I want them to refresh a behavior or make sure they polish up on a new procedure. So I can immediately assign them materials that can educate them and help them to improve that. Right? Once I've stepped through this process, I will finalize my evaluation, right, from a quality management perspective, and then continue to search for, right, additional recordings. So once I've completed that, I'll go right back in and, again, start to search for calls. Easy to use, simple interface. That's the message. We want that to be very prevalent in everything that we do. We know that everyone's time is precious, so being able to quickly find what you're looking for, be able to take the action that you need with it, and be able to seamlessly recreate incidents is what's key. Selection of the right content, right, the right recordings, and then an easy way to build those, save those, review those, right, and follow up. Okay. Now, I've taken us through quite a journey. We've covered quite a bit of material. I think at this stage, we'll open it up for any Q&A that you guys might have. We do have a Q&A option that you can present your questions to, and we will open up the Q&A window, and if we have any questions that you guys want to send through, then we will definitely take a look at those and answer them back. So please submit any questions you might have, and we'll keep it open for a few minutes to go through those. As we wait for some questions to come in, if there are any, again, on behalf of myself, Patrick, and Ryan, we want to thank you for joining us today, and hopefully you have learned some valuable things about the VPI solution and incident recreation and how a product like ours can be beneficial in streamlining your effectiveness and efficiency within your departments. You're also invited to our public safety best practice forums. You can see that we've got several of the states listed where we're going to be hosting them this year or have hosted them this year. If you would like more information, you can visit us at www.psapforum.com for additional information on the upcoming events. Everyone who has attended today will also be receiving the High Performing PSAP book written by Dick Bucci, I always massacre his last name, and Patrick Boats. So your attendance is going to get you a copy of that book. We've also listed our contact information at the top of this last slide, and we'd be happy to continue conversations with anyone who's on the phone with us today if you do have any additional questions. During the post-survey that you're going to receive, if you can please submit your address for the book to be mailed to, it would be greatly appreciated so we can ensure that we get those out to you. You can also email any one of us using the addresses listed on this last slide. Okay, so it looks like we have a question that came in. I'm going to go ahead and read that to everyone and then we'll answer it. So the question is, if you receive a pack and go interaction, can you save the audio on your PC or burn it to a disk? And that's a great question, Stephanie. Yes, you can. You have the ability to, if you receive that pack and go file, to save that file locally or burn it to a CD. The one thing that it does is it keeps it all in that nice package, and it still maintains that password protection, but you could save that locally and then also burn it to a CD if you did need to mail it off to someone. I have a lot of clients that actually put them on a thumb drive and then, right, ship that off to someone or hand it to someone, right, if they need to pass that secured file type along. So great question, and yes, you can. Another component also, if you're doing some interagency, I'll just touch on this for a minute, that kind of goes along with that. If you're doing interagency or interdepartment sharing of your media, you have the ability to send a link directly to that incident, right, or the different call recordings. So instead of having to save a file or put it on a CD, if you're just going to send it to the chief or you're going to send it to another person in the department, you can, right through within the interface, just send them a link. They click on the hyperlink that they get in their email, and it'll take them right into the VPI system, and they're able to listen to that recording, provided they have correct permissions. So the sharing of content interagency is very efficient through the use of media links, along with the ability to save files should you need to. Okay. It doesn't look like we have any more questions coming in at this time, but we definitely want to again thank you all for attending. We hope everyone has a great rest of the day and a good upcoming weekend. If you need more information, we'd be happy to follow up with any of you, so we look forward to speaking with you in the future.
And we'll also send you a link to the recorded webcast today, so you can share that with your team and the slides as well. So thanks a lot, and have a wonderful afternoon, and look forward to keeping in touch.
Okay. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Greg and Patrick. Take care.
Bye, guys.